Let's talk about a feeling I know all too well, and maybe you do too. You meet someone. You really like them. The conversation starts okay, but then the energy shifts. Their replies take hours. When they finally come, it's just empty. A single word. A dry response. No life in it. And what do? You wait. You overthink. You start mentally replaying every single thing you said, wondering where you went wrong. Your stomach sinks. So you try to fix it. You send another text, pouring a little more of your enthusiasm, your interest, into the void. You hit send, and then nothing. Radio silence. They're gone. And you're left feeling worse than before, not just rejected, but forgotten. Like you never even made a dent. Now, I want you to picture the exact opposite scenario. Imagine your phone lights up, and it's her name. She's texting you first. She's asking about your day. She's suggesting plans, real plans. She's engaged. She's laughing. She's putting in the effort to come to you. You didn't beg for it. You didn't negotiate. You didn't perform a song and dance to convince her. Something was fundamentally different. Not about her, but about you. One critical shift in your foundation, in how you move through the world, and suddenly, the entire dynamic changes. People begin to treat you like you matter. Not because you won the genetic lottery or memorized a script, but because you quietly stopped doing the one thing that has been leaking your value dry your entire life. For years, I studied this. I wasn't looking at pickup artists or theory from a textbook. I was obsessively watching the guys in real life who simply never seemed to struggle. They weren't always the tallest, the richest, or the most chiseled, but they always had options. They carried themselves differently, and the women in their lives, they showed up differently for them. What I discovered wasn't a line or a trick. It was an internal operating system. And by the end of this, you'll understand exactly what that shift is, why it works on a psychological level, and precisely how to implement it starting today. But first, if you're tired of the guesswork and truly want to shortcut the learning curve, you need to do two things for me right now. 1. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We go deep here every single week, and you do not want to miss what's coming. 2. Smash that like button. It tells the algorithm this is valuable, and it helps me know I'm on the right track for you. Seriously, it takes half a second. Do it now. All right, let's dive into the core of what nobody is telling you. When you interact with a woman you're interested in, she is not conducting a job interview. She's not just checking boxes for handsome, funny, or good job. On a primal, often subconscious level, she is deciding something far more critical: how you make her feel about herself when she's with you. The fastest way to kill that feeling? To make her feel like the competition is already over. To make her feel like she's already won you over without breaking a sweat. You become a trophy sitting on her shelf on day one, and nobody stares at a trophy they've already won. Visualize this common scenario: you match on an app, or you meet at a social event. The exchange begins. She offers a simple, baseline piece of information. I'm from Chicago. It's neutral. It's a data point. Now, in your mind, a panic alarm goes off. Connection opportunity. Say something clever. Show interest. Build rapport. So, you spring into action. No way. I love Chicago. I was just there for a conference. The architecture is amazing. We have to go get a deep dish pizza sometime. I know this great place. You believed you were being engaging, enthusiastic, a great conversationalist. You thought you were building a bridge. Here's the brutal reality of what you just communicated. With only 5 words from her, you have already 1. Given enthusiastic agreement. 2. Shared a personal anecdote to connect. 3. Complimented her city. 4. Planned a future together. You just told her, clearly, that she does not have to work even 1% for your interest, your attention, or your approval. You handed her the entire game board and declared her the winner in the opening move. The mystery of "does he like me?" is obliterated in seconds. And when there is no mystery, there is no intrigue. The human mind, especially one attuned to emotional dynamics, is wired to pursue what it cannot immediately decipher. I'm not talking about playing mind games or being cruel. I'm talking about the natural, compelling power of healthy uncertainty. When a man is an open book from page 1, when his interest is a foregone conclusion, when he bestows his highest approval before a single real test has been passed, her subconscious simply disengages. There's no challenge. There's no puzzle to solve. There is no reason for you to occupy her thoughts when you're not right in front of her. You've made yourself mentally forgettable. So what naturally follows? She begins to pull back. Not necessarily because you're a bad guy or you said something offensive, but because you gave the entire store away for free before she even decided she wanted to shop. And when you give your interest, your attention, and your validation away freely, they become commodities with no perceived value. This is where it gets catastrophic for most men. They sense that pullback, the slower replies, the drier texts. And what is their instinct? To panic, to pour more fuel on the dying fire. They text more frequently. They compliment more lavishly. They try to prove their worth by demonstrating even greater availability and agreement. And that is the precise moment they are written off permanently. Because now, she's not just uninterested, she is actively turned off. It reads as desperate, insecure, and lacking in self-value. There is foundational psychological principle at play here, studied by researchers like Robert Cialdini in his work on influence. It's the principle of scarcity. People assign greater value to that which is less available, that which requires some effort, that which is not guaranteed. The moment something becomes too abundant, too easily accessed, its perceived worth plummets. This applies directly to you and your social capital. If you are perpetually available, instantly agreeable, and effortless to win over, she cannot possibly place a high value on your attention. But if your interest appears to be a reward that must be earned, not through games, but through genuine demonstration of character, everything changes. You become the man who didn't immediately fold, the man who wasn't dazzled by surface-level attributes, the man she can't quite categorize in the first 5 minutes. And that uncertainty, that is the spark of lasting attraction. That is what plants you in her mind when you're absent. Comment below right now. Have you ever been in this situation? You felt a connection start to fade, panicked, and doubled down, only to make it worse? Type "been there" in the comments. Let me know I'm not alone in having learned this the hard way. All right, let's get to the core shift. This is the part you need to internalize because it recalibrates everything. It's not about learning a new line. It's about unlearning a desperate habit. The shift: stop issuing validation on credit. Make her earn your genuine interest. I know that sounds straightforward, maybe deceptively simple. But conduct a brutally honest audit of your own behavior when you're with a woman you're attracted to. She mentions her hometown. You instantly light up. I love it there. She describes her career. You immediately express admiration. Wow, that's so impressive. She shares a photo. You rush to compliment. You look amazing. In each of these micro moments, you are handing her a diploma of your approval before she's completed a single class. You are communicating that her mere existence is sufficient to hook your full interest. There is no journey, only an instantaneous arrival. Now, watch what happens when you flip the script. She tells you where she's from. Instead of the instant agreement, you pause. You hold a calm, steady eye contact for a beat. Then you ask, with curious but measured energy, what's the one thing you'd tell someone to see or do there that they wouldn't find in a guidebook? No premature excitement. No rush to common ground. Just authentic curiosity. You haven't given her your validation. You've asked her to provide value, to explain, to engage her mind. You've asked her to work, just a little, for the continuation of the conversation. In that subtle pause and redirected question, a seismic shift occurs in her psyche. She is now uncertain of your stance. Does he like me? Is he judging my answer? I need to think of something good. That moment of healthy uncertainty creates tension. Not awkward tension, but engaging, magnetic tension. The kind that makes her brain actively process you. And that is the feeling you want to cultivate, her wondering where she stands with you. Because when she's wondering, she's investing mental and emotional real estate. When she's wondering, she is engaged. Crucially, this is not about being cold, ignoring her, or feigning disinterest. That's juvenile and transparent. This is about tempering the reflexive, eager-to-please enthusiasm that short-circuits attraction and replacing it with calibrated, valuable engagement. Most men are conditioned to believe that unwavering warmth and agreement is the path to being liked. They think, if I'm just nice enough, supportive enough, always available enough, she'll eventually reward me with her affection. But here's the truth they discover too late. Warmth without tension creates comfort. And comfort is the bedrock of friendship, not romantic attraction. At worst, it makes you the emotional support guy she texts when bored, but never the man she truly desires to see. Let me give you a real-world case study from my own circle. My friend Alex, smart, successful, good sense of humor. On paper, a home run. But for the longest time, he was perpetually in the talking stage that led nowhere. One evening, I observed him talking to a woman at a rooftop bar. The initial signs were all positive. She was leaning in, laughing, initiating light touch. Alex was doing everything the conventional advice says: active listening, asking follow-ups, being responsive. But then I saw the pattern. Every opinion she voiced, he mirrored. Every experience she shared, he had a similar or better one. Every minor complaint she uttered, he validated and amplified. He was a mirror, reflecting back exactly what he thought she wanted. I watched her body language change in real time. The lean-in became a lean-back. The focused eye contact became glances around the room. The engaged laughter became polite smiles. Within 30 minutes, she found a reason to excuse herself. Alex walked back to me, bewildered. I don't get it, man. We had so much in common. The vibe was perfect. What he failed to see was that he made himself a solved equation in the first act. She felt no need to turn the page because she already knew the ending. He had paid for the entire meal before she'd even looked at the menu. Share this video right now with one friend who needs to hear this. Tag them in the comments saying this is for you. Seriously, help a brother out. This knowledge is too powerful to keep to yourself. Think about anything of profound value in your own life. That career goal you hustled for years to achieve. That hard-earned skill you mastered. The respect of someone you admire. The sweetness of that victory is inextricably linked to the struggle it required. You value it because you earned it. Now, think of something handed to you with no effort required. A generic compliment. A participation trophy. How deeply did you value it? How long did it occupy your thoughts? Probably not at all. This is the exact psychological mechanism you trigger when you validate a woman too rapidly. You transform yourself from a potential prize to be earned into a participation trophy handed out at the door. You become instantly forgettable. The antidote is this: become a man of discernment, not just a man of desire. Make her demonstrate her value, rather than anointing her with yours prematurely. She tells you about her passion for painting. Don't instantly say, "That's so cool." Instead, probe deeper with a neutral, curious tone. What's the most satisfying part of the process for you? The initial idea or the final product? You are staying engaged, but you are not impressed yet. You are letting her prove that her hobby has depth, that there's a thoughtful person behind it. She sends you a casual selfie. Resist the knee-jerk, "You're beautiful." Instead, notice something else. "That's a great backdrop. Is that from your hike this morning?" You are shifting the focus from hollow, value-giving flattery to content-based conversation. You are communicating that you see the context, not just a pretty face seeking praise. Here is where the magic happens. When you become a man who doesn't distribute his interest like cheap candy, she instinctively begins to chase it. She starts wanting to elicit that genuine interest. She begins putting in more effort, sharing more substantive parts of herself, because you have subconsciously positioned yourself as different. You are the man with standards. The man who isn't easily conquered. The man whose approval actually means something because it isn't freely given. Now, a critical warning. Many men hear this and misinterpret it as act disinterested or play hard to get. That is a disastrous misunderstanding. There is a canyon of difference between not being easy and being distant or dismissive. One creates magnetic, attractive tension. The other creates apathy, and nobody is attracted to apathy. If she genuinely believes you don't care, she will vanish, and rightfully so. Your goal is to be selectively engaged. Present, but not persuaded. Interested, but not invested. You are demonstrating, through calm action, that your attention is a valuable asset, and to maintain access to it, she must bring authentic value to the interaction. She texts you. You don't drop your life to reply in 30 seconds. You reply when you are logically free, after your meeting, your workout, your time with friends. Not as a game, but because you have a life that commands your presence. She suggests a last-minute plan. You don't automatically clear your schedule. You check your calendar. "I've got commitments until 8, but I'm free after if you want to grab a drink." You treat your time with the respect it deserves. She tests you, maybe with a sudden pullback, a day of silence to see if you'll panic. You hold the frame. You don't double text. You don't send a or. Is everything okay? You remain unshaken, continuing to live your fulfilling life. You demonstrate that your emotional state is not tethered to her intermittent attention. This last point is utterly pivotal, because every other guy she's tested has failed. They've chased, they've pleaded, they've revealed their neediness. But you stand firm. You exist, confidently and completely, without requiring her validation to feel whole. That is uniquely compelling. That makes you a mystery worth solving. The psychologist Elliot Aronson's famous gain-loss theory of attraction from the 1960s brilliantly supports this. His research found that people are most attracted to those whose liking for them starts neutral or slightly negative and increases over time. Why? Because that increasing approval feels earned. It feels authentic and therefore more valuable than constant, unchanging praise from the very beginning. This is the blueprint you are following. By not handing out your highest approval immediately, you create the space for your genuine interest to grow as she reveals her true character. You show her your attraction is not a shallow, automatic reflex, but a considered choice based on who she proves herself to be. And that is rare air. I need to pause here and be bluntly honest with you. If you are constantly stuck in cycles of confusion, wondering if she's truly interested or just keeping you as an option, deciphering mixed signals, wasting months on potential that doesn't exist, you are operating blindfolded. You must learn to read the map. That's exactly why I created my full system. If you want to skip years of trial and catastrophic error, you need to get my book. It's the ultimate guide to cutting through the noise, understanding true intent, and never wasting your time on someone who isn't serious about you again. The link is the first one in the description below. Use it. Invest in yourself. All right, back to the blueprint. You're learning to make her earn your interest. You're staying selective. But this is only one side of the equation. It's not enough to simply be hard to impress. You must also be profoundly worth impressing. If you are a man of no substance, with no mission, no passions, no personal development, being hard to get just makes you a stubborn, empty closet. She will simply move on to someone who is both challenging and inherently valuable. Therefore, while you are refining your ability to grant your interests selectively, you must be building a life that is inherently impressive. Your focus must be on becoming the strongest, most capable, most intellectually and emotionally developed version of yourself. This means relentlessly pursuing your physical fitness and health, dedicating yourself to your career or craft with ambition, cultivating a rich social circle of high-value friends, developing hobbies and skills that excite you, engaging in continuous learning and self-education. When your life is a compelling story you are actively writing, you are not sitting by the phone. You are the protagonist of your own journey. And when she does interact with you, it feels like she's getting a VIP pass into an exciting world, not being burdened with the job of being your entire source of entertainment and validation. This creates an energy that is irresistible. You are a man who wants her, but does not need her. Your happiness and self-worth are internally generated. This is the critical difference between the man she respects and desires and the man she may use for temporary attention or ego strokes. Here is a harsh truth society often avoids. Many men are so starved for female validation that they become shapeshifters. They morph into a mirror of whatever they perceive the woman wants. She mentions liking travelers. Suddenly, he's planning a backpacking trip across Europe he'll never take. She values intellect. He's name-dropping philosophers he barely understands. Women have a razor-sharp radar for this performance. They can sense inauthenticity from a mile away. The moment they detect you are molding yourself to fit their preferences, it's over. Why? Because no one can respect someone who has so little self-respect that they abandon their own identity for approval. The powerful alternative? Show up, unapologetically, as your authentic self. This is not a license to be rude or abrasive. It is permission to have your own opinions, your own standards, your own no. It means not filtering your genuine perspective to constantly appease her. She states an opinion you disagree with. You don't just nod. You say calmly, "That's an interesting take. I see it a bit differently, actually." And you explain your reasoned perspective. She suggests an activity that doesn't align with your interests. You don't fake enthusiasm. You say, "That's not really my scene, but I'd be down for alternative suggestion." Most men are terrified of this. They believe disagreement equals rejection, but the opposite is true. Polite, Confident disagreement demonstrates integrity and personal strength. It shows you are a man of substance, not just a reflection. This doesn't push her away. It builds a far deeper foundation than superficial attraction. It builds respect. And respect is the non-negotiable currency of long-term desire. I witnessed this masterfully executed by a colleague of mine, David. We were at an industry mixer when a very attractive, clearly successful woman joined our group. She began discussing her very niche, high-stakes career with a tone of clear pride. Everyone else was offering generic, impressed murmurs. David listened intently, then, with a genuine smile, said, "That sounds incredibly high pressure. What do you do to unwind from all that? It seems like it would be hard to switch off." She paused, looked at him with a new level of attention, and said, "You know, no one ever asks that. It is hard to switch off." A real, vulnerable, and connected conversation ensued. Why? Because David didn't perform the standard impressed routine. He saw the human behind the resume and asked a real question. He engaged her authentically, not her facade. This is the power of being real. It forges connections that are magnetic and durable. Let's synthesize all of this into actionable steps for tomorrow, next week, for the rest of your life. This is your practical playbook. 1. The texting framework. She texts you. Your life does not stop. Finish your task, you're set at the gym, your chapter. Then reply. This isn't playing hard to get. It's having a life that is your priority. She asks, "What are you up to?" Never, ever reply, "Nothing," or "Just chilling." Even if you're relaxing, frame it with purpose. "Just finished planning my week and unwinding with a book, / back from the gym, fueling up." Show a life in motion. She sends a selfie, fishing. Avoid the direct compliment bait. Engage with the content. "The lighting in that spot is awesome, / that looks like a great trail. How long was the hike?" Redirect to shared experience or curiosity. She proposes last-minute plans. If it suits you and you're interested, great. If it feels like a boredom backup plan, "I'd love to see you, but I need a bit more heads up to make plans that work. My schedule's pretty full this week. How about we lock something in for Thursday?" Value your time. She goes quiet. The test. Do not fold. Do not double text. Do not send a. Breathe. Return to your mission. Go to the gym. Work on your project. See your friends. Let her return on her own. If she doesn't, you have your clear, painless answer. 2. The in-person mindset. Listen more than you speak. Ask deeper, open-ended questions that require thought, not just facts. Maintain calm, steady eye contact. Don't stare, but don't nervously glance away. Speak slowly and clearly. Rushing your words communicates anxiety. Own your space and opinions. Be polite but unafraid to have a differing viewpoint. Use pauses. A 2-second pause before responding to a question demonstrates thoughtfulness, not eagerness. 3. The lifelong foundation. Your mission is number 1. Your purpose, goals, and growth are the main plot. Romantic interests are a wonderful subplot. Embrace abundance. Know that there is not just one woman for you. There are many fascinating people in the world. This mindset removes desperation from your energy. Cultivate true outcome independence. Your sense of worth, happiness, and fulfillment must be derived from your own actions and character, not from any external validation. When you synthesize these layers, the internal shift in self-value, the external practice of selective engagement, and the relentless building of a formidable life, a transformation occurs. It's not just about how she sees you. It's about how you see yourself. You stop being a beggar for affection and become a chooser. You stand in your own power. This new energy is palpable. It's quiet confidence. It's peaceful strength. It's the absence of neediness. And this energy is what women find absolutely magnetic. They will start to pursue. They will initiate. They will invest. Because they can feel, intuitively, that you are different. You are not a consumer hoping to be chosen. You are a prize, inviting them to qualify for a place in your world. So, the ultimate shift is this. Become the man whose approval is worth earning by first approving of yourself unconditionally. Build a life so complete that a partner is a welcome addition, not a missing piece you desperately need to feel whole. When you become that man, you won't need to remember techniques. It will simply be who you are. And the world, including the women in it, will respond to you in a way you once only imagined. If this resonated with you, if you're ready to make this shift, I need you to do 3 things before you go. 1. Subscribe to this channel. This is just the beginning. We are building a community of men committed to growth, not games. 2. Like this video. It helps more guys like you find this message and change their lives. 3. Comment below with the word shift. Let me know you're in. Tell me one insight you're taking away. This journey starts with a single decision. Make it today.